Right, so there's some big news today, and I thought I'll do a video covering it. This is the news that Australia have banned AI-generated music on their charts. So these would be the Australian charts run by the ARIA, which is Australian Recording Industry Association. So they've updated their code to explicitly exclude AI-generated songs, and this is effective from the 31st of August. And I think it's a big deal. I mean, it's kind of in line with the sentiment or general sentiment, or well, maybe let's not say general sentiment, but it's in line with some of the actions that have been taken recently with regards to AI music. So things like the labeling of AI music, the rules around that, Spotify identifying and labeling AI music, these kind of things. So it's not really too surprising, I suppose, but I think it's still something worth talking about and kind of analyzing to some extent. So why did they actually do this is the question. So it seems that what triggered this, or was part of the trigger, was there's a guy who created an AI song and has climbed up the Australian charts and has actually made it to number 2. As we speak currently, he's at number 4. It's been in the chart for 16 weeks, and his name is Josh Fawaz, and the song is a remix of Madonna's Like a Prayer. And in the song, the vocal is actually an AI vocal, and some of the drums, according to the credits, are also AI generated. Right? And from reading the reports, it sounds like when this was released, some people spotted this and kind of said, look, this is AI, why is it being played on the radio, blah blah blah. But obviously that didn't stop the song being played more and more and actually reaching the charts and getting to number 2. And I think the sort of backlash from that is what's maybe resulted in this announcement today. Obviously, I think it probably would have happened anyway, but I think this song getting to number 2, I mean, it didn't actually make it to number 1, but pretty close. So another thing to say though about Josh Fawaz is, even though this song is an AI generated song, he's a producer and DJ who's been around since 2015. So he's not someone who's just showed up in the time of AI music and just kind of prompted something. I think it's someone who's kind of been working on stuff since 2015. But when we go through the definitions, I think his song falls under the types of songs that would be excluded from the chart, unfortunately for him. So I actually saw the story on the BBC, but I actually want to go through what's specifically in the code which has been published by the ARIA. The important bit is down here where it talks about basically what's going to be excluded, and it's going to be things that are not substantially human created, including where artificial intelligence, AI, is used to generate the entirety or the primary portion of the creative elements of the title product being the song. And then it also says songs that do not comply with any industry or legally required AI labeling standards. So they're talking about the labeling that was introduced in July by the IFPI, which stands for International Federation of the Phonographic Industry. Now, this is an important organization. Its members include the AIRA, it also includes the RIAA from the USA and the BPI from the UK, and so on. So it's fairly influential. Their labeling is as follows: something that is AI generated means something whereby generative AI was used to generate the entirety or the primary portion of the creative elements of the recording. The examples they give are lead vocal performance generated by AI, or key instrumental performance generated by AI, or entirely prompt generated AI music. In contrast, something that is AI assisted will be as follows. The recording was created substantially by humans and expresses human creativity. However, generative AI was used for some expressive elements. Humans performed the lead vocal and primary instruments. So, in the case of Josh Fawaz' song, I mean, that's clearly AI generated because the lead vocal is AI. So that would not be included in the charts. So going forward, so from the 31st of August, actually, because his song is still on the charts, it will be excluded and it won't be on the chart anymore. And going forward, no song where the lead vocal is AI will be included. Now, it's interesting, the bit about key instrumental performance generated by AI, that's maybe a bit difficult to sort of define, because you're sort of using the key instrumental performance. It's not saying the instrumental performance. So in other words, if you sampled something, if you created a sample in AI and then used it in your backing track or whatever the instrumentation is, that would be fine as long as it wasn't the key part to your instrumentation. But the question, I suppose, is what's the key part? Is it the bass line? Is it the main melody in the song? I think that's maybe open for interpretation. So another key part from the IFPI is the fact that they say the system does not cover the use of generative AI in lyrics, composition, music videos, or cover art at this point. So the main thing from this is that AI generated songs are going to be excluded from the charts, right? That's the main thing. It doesn't stop people creating AI generated songs, and it also doesn't stop people putting it on streaming services or YouTube or whatever. That's number one. Number two, it also allows AI assisted songs to be in the chart. So as long as your lead vocal is not AI and your key instrumentation is not AI, you can actually be in the chart. So if your lyrics are AI and your composition is AI, and you maybe sing and then run that through auto-tune and do whatever processing outside of an AI tool like say Suno or something like that, then that would still be eligible, right? Because you haven't created the lead vocal. And so I think the bit about lyrics and composition not being part of an AI generated song, I think that's huge. But I understand why it's not part of it, because it's really probably impossible to try and track and see whether someone used AI for their lyrics. I mean, how would you even start to do that? And if somebody used AI for their composition. So I think it would be easy for people to create music using AI and then maybe strip it down or maybe take inspiration from it. I mean, I suppose in a way that moves it on from people just going in and prompting, right? So I think going in and prompting, you're definitely out, right? That I think is probably a dead end. I think in the end, anyone who's just going in, writing a prompt, and then just getting something out and then trying to release that that I think is going to be quickly shut down. But I think the avenues whereby people go in and they maybe create the composition in there, but then they take that and then they use another different tool that's not an AI tool to then mix things in or splice things or whatever, then I think that's definitely going to happen. I think it still lowers the entry bar for people because AI can still do a lot of that work as opposed to you kind of starting from scratch. I mean, lyrics and composition are a really, really big part of any song, right? So I think maybe this change, like initially when you think about it, you think, oh my God, it's a big change, but actually I don't think it affects the people that are creating AI music, because if someone's creating music, do they even really want to be in the charts? Because they're not singing, right? So if I'm creating an AI song and the vocal is an AI, then I don't really want to be in the charts necessarily, right? I mean, the exposure is obviously useful, but it wouldn't really hurt the person to not be in the charts, as long as they can be on the streaming platforms, as long as they can be, because then they earn money through that. But yeah, this one's interesting though as well, because the people earning from this song, because it's a remix of Madonna's Like a Prayer, the other composers, the original composers of the song, including Madonna, would have been earning from this song as well. So this is kind of an interesting one, right? Because one of the key points, and it's a really good point as an argument against AI, is the fact that there's no compensation for the original people that it was trained on. I mean, this is a slightly different case, because obviously the Like a Prayer bit is not part of the AI, that's just the song he was remixing. But anyway, I think yeah, this is the direction that everything's going to go. I think AI music is going to be slowly, maybe not slowly actually, will be curtailed up until the point where enough creativity is needed for you to create the song. But I think it's a really difficult thing to do, because things like lyrics and composition, I can't see a meaningful way in which you could place that in any reasonable way. But I think things like AI vocals, that's really simple, right? And I think that's simple to define. And I think anyone who is just prompting these AIs to come up with the entire song, I think they will need to look at something else really. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you can join me for my next video, where I try to go through all of these developments with AI and music. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.